All right, here we are with another episode of the Slack Doctors. I am Dr. Chip.
I am Dr. Bob.
And we actually we had planned for a guest today, which I got to say, I have a tinge of concern because this guy is unlike him to ghost me the way he has just in the last couple of days. I messaged him about a week ago about doing it, and he was all for today. And the last couple of days, I've been sending a message. I tried calling him this morning. I tried texting him on the phone, and I'm getting nothing. It's kind of scary.
It's always bad when you lose contact with somebody around the holidays because your mind can sometimes go to the worst place. You know, it's a bad time of year for people to just ghost you and disappear.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he has any problem with the holidays or any depression or anything like that. Although I don't know, that couldn't be maybe not out of the question, but I would be surprised. But
in lots of other ways too, like there's more, drunk driving accidents. There's more, it just.
Yeah, that's more like what I'm worried about is he's somehow incapacitated, like, in the hospital or some shit like that. But yeah, well, let's hope for the best. And he's just not not paying attention to his phone or whatever. Hopefully, we'll see. But I don't know. Did you have any news nuggets?
No, I am in a new location today, if you can tell from the background.
Oh, yes, correct.
I'm broadcasting from Dr. Bob's secret West Coast bunker.
There you go.
I came over to see my sister for her birthday, so I'm over on the West Coast.
Nice. Well, I
drive down, nothing but cattle ranches and horses, and very, very pleasant.
Right. I just drove. Oh, yeah, I just drove down on the bike because it is gorgeous today, as seen by the fact that I wear my once a year sweatshirt. How often do you get to wear a sweatshirt? But I rode the bike down A1A today.
It was 36 degrees when I woke up in Gainesville this morning.
Yeah, it's nice out. I mean, truthfully, I don't need a sweatshirt. I could have rode with a T-shirt on the bike, but, I can wear a sweatshirt. So, but there was a lot of construction on A1A on the way down. It's a mess. It's a mess all over. I mean, not only construction on the road, but, when you get construction on any of those houses, it clogs up the traffic. But, yeah, it was bad. But, but I have a news nugget. I'm surprised you didn't even catch this as a news nugget, but did you see the guy that was eating the raw hog on Worth Avenue?
No.
Oh, you didn't? I thought that made national news.
It probably did. I just didn't see it. But was this in protest of something, or he was just having a meal?
That's the point I was going to bring up, because I've seen a bunch of stories about it, and not anywhere has anybody said why he's doing it. And clearly, obviously you don't know the story, this guy, he looked like a redneck, showed up not on Worth Avenue, but on the beach at the end of Worth Avenue, walked up to on the sidewalk there at the end of the road on the beach, and pulled out a dead, undressed hog, cut it open, and started eating it raw on the street, on the sidewalk, I guess. Got arrested. I think they ended up letting him go, because I don't know if he actually even broke any laws per se, other than just being disgusting,
Right. Because my first thought was, like eating pork in public, if you're trying to upset some sort of Muslim constituency or something, or some kind of event.
That's the point.
If you are trying to do that, you could do a BLT. You don't have to eat a raw hog. So that seems a bit excessive.
Yeah, good point. No, but that's my point, is of all the news stories that I've seen about it, they report what happened quite well, but nobody is saying, well, this is why he says he did it, or why he did it. Or, I mean, clearly nobody does that without trying to say something. I mean, there's a message in what he's doing. There's no way he just went out there and just randomly decided to piss people off. I mean, he's clearly trying to send a message of some sort. So why?
He's just shitballs crazy.
Yeah, well, either way. But where's his manifesto? Where's the manifesto all these other weirdos have that the CIA and the FBI seem to apprehend? This guy clearly has to have some kind of manifesto or message of some sort that they ain't telling us.
It reminds me of the old bath salt story from down there where, the guy was eating somebody's face.
Didn't that turn out to be fake or something?
Yeah, I mean, well, he was biting the guy in the face, but I think the bath salt part might not have been entirely accurate. But, they do say that the animal that most closely resembles the taste of human meat is pork. So maybe he was a cannibal that just couldn't get his hands on any people or something.
I don't know, but that's the weird part to me, that nobody is saying, well, this is why I did it. This is the message. This is what he was yelling or something. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, I mean, I haven't really followed up on it to see if anybody's reported at all about why, but I haven't heard anything.
The Borneo headhunters, whatever their native language is that they speak, they indulged in cannibalism, and the word that they used for human meat translates into long pig. So apparently it really does taste like pork.
Lawn pig? Is that what you said?
Long, L-O-N-G, like long.
Gotcha.
Long pig, as opposed to a tall pig. But I guess if you're running on all fours, you'd be long.
Yeah, that's pretty disgusting.
We maybe get a little bit of pet loving interaction if I can get a quick look here. See if you guys can see the Masonator.
Holy shit! Look at the size of that dog
on the show. Hi, babies. Oh, there you go.
That thing's huge.
That'll make a good thumbnail. Hi. Give me a kiss. No? Okay.
So, how does it smell?
Oh, it's great. She clean.
Really? She keeps the dog smell out of the house?
I don't smell her at all. Yeah.
Good. That's always been a thing with me with dogs, man. You can always, no matter what. You walk in a house with dogs, you're like, no,
she gets
there's
lots
that
of
smell.
baths, and she's got really short hair, too.
That's true. That does help. All right, so one of the things I wanted to talk about, you know, let's do a hypothetical. Say somebody murders me, all right, and you're relatively certain of who and why and all that kind of stuff. Yet there are people out there that are speculating that it may be some other reason or somebody else that murdered me. Would that piss you off?
It would depend what I planned on. First of all, for the record, if somebody does murder you, I will avenge you. So therefore, having said that, I would like somebody to throw the suspicion towards some other area or something else, because that way, when I wreak havoc on the individual that did kill you, nobody will even notice.
Well, the reason I bring this up is this whole Erica Kirk thing has just gotten so out of control, man. It's like her and Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson are all in this like war of like, and truthfully, Erica Kirk's got basically all of Fox News, Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, Mark Levin, all these people behind her going, oh yeah, these people are deranged. They're floating these conspiracy theories when clearly people are lying and they're covering up for these lies. There's all kinds of lies being floated. For instance, I just watched a thing. All right, we all know that the guy, the head of security, went on Sean Ryan's podcast and said, I'm not allowed to fly any drones. I couldn't possibly fly any drones. I couldn't do it. They didn't have any, yada, 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 no drones. Then they cut right to the guy, I forget the guy's name, the silver-haired guy who's like his dad. He was like a son to me. They immediately go to a clip of him going, yes, so I was in the car driving to Charlie to the event, and we were looking at the drone footage of how many people were there. Like, wait a minute. I thought you couldn't fly any drones. There was a drone already in the air there. Somebody's lying. So clearly these people are covering up for liars. Why is that? And, you know, it's so obvious. If Erica Kirk really wasn't in on it, she would at least be open to like, all right, listen, they may be on the wrong track, but at least they're trying to help. Right?
I mean, from the outside, it would seem like the answer to that would be an obvious yes, but maybe from the inside, you just want closure. You want to go with whatever. Well,
here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that. She's on Fox News hawking a book that supposedly he wrote, but he didn't write. She's on there hawking his book. Like, that's not looking for closure. She's making money. And then that's exactly what she's accusing of Candace Owens doing. So, oh, you're just making money off my debt. And buy my book. You know, it's like, it just looks so bad.
Yeah, the optics on the whole thing have looked bad from the get-go. And I've always thought that I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like a mourning period would have... she seems pretty eager to be very ambitious, and I don't know. I just don't think that if
Yeah, I mean,
my
there's.
spouse was killed, I could recover that quickly.
I think
I
the
don't know.
optics look bad is the understatement of the year, because I mean, they're clearly covering for people just lying their asses off. Why? Why would you do that? I mean, why
Well,
not
there's
go?
only two
Okay, well,
reasons
you
to
guys
do
are
it.
way wrong.
One is
But
money, and one is fear.
what's that?
The two obvious reasons I can think of to cover something like that up would be money or fear. You're either being paid to do it or you're afraid to not do it.
Well, yeah. Yeah, somebody's floating that argument that the reason Erica Kirk couldn't have taken some time off to grieve and had to be the head of TPUSA was because she knew there were dark forces that were trying to take it down or some bullshit like that. It's like, come on, man. I don't know. The whole thing is just so. I mean, as I told you, literally, I called you like literally in time as she was doing that WWE event, and I'm just like, man, I'm not buying it, man. It just doesn't seem sincere, doesn't seem authentic, just doesn't. Anyway.
No, it's Tammy Faye Baker all over again.
Yeah, it's crazy. It just doesn't.
With slightly less makeup.
Oh my God! And this is the other clip. I think I saw this yesterday, but Roseanne Barr is challenging Nick Fuentes to a debate. I'd pay to see that. I got money.
Now,
I want to see.
I would pay to see them have a hot dog eating contest, but a debate would be
we
good.
We could do
too.
both. We could do both. I would love to see that. That would be, that would be hilarious, dude. It would be funny is, oh my God, I literally just had this idea. You know what? Kill Tony should have them both on the panel together. That'd be hilarious. But yeah, I would love to see those two debate Israel. That would be epic. Somebody's got to make that happen. Somebody has to make that happen. You could make it a pay-per-view event. I'd pay. I'd give like $10-$20 to see that.
I think a lot of people would.
Oh, it would be insane. And I mean, Roseanne Barr is just, I mean, she's another one that got Busey'd and what's his name? She's out there. And the other thing, did you see that? I guess Tyler Robinson had a court appearance. I think it was yesterday, and it was some weird shit. I guess it went on in court where they at the beginning, before the proceedings, or right as the beginning proceedings started, they cleared the courtroom, probably to talk about something. I imagine my money would be that they were talking about moving the venue. They were probably lawyers going, no, we can't try him here. We got to try him somewhere else. But the other thing that this is something. Have you ever seen Tyler Robinson's parents? Like even a picture of them?
No, I've read quotes that they've said and whatever in articles, but I've never actually seen an image of either of them.
Have you seen a picture or heard anything from the sheriff that talked him into turning himself in?
No.
That seems a little odd to me. Now, the sheriff guy, not so much, but why isn't anybody talking to the parents, like especially asking them, if he turned himself in and he confessed, why is he pleading not guilty? And not only that, why did you turn your son in knowing that they're going to shoot him? They're going to kill him. He's not going to survive this unless somehow he gets proved not guilty, which good luck with that. But I mean, if they find him guilty and say he shot the guy, they're going to kill him. What kind of parents would turn their son in? I mean, well, sorry, son, we know you did it. You're going to have to die.
I mean, we've already talked about how we're both clearly in different algorithmic bubbles when it comes to social media and stuff. But still, shockingly, I've not seen anything in my feeds about anything about this guy in quite some time. I mean,
Tyler Robinson?
Yeah, Tyler Robinson. Yeah. Nothing about this court thing that you're talking about. Nothing about his parents. Nothing about the policeman that you're referencing. Nothing about his furry possible ex-lover or whatever that
Well, I
has
haven't heard anything
disappeared
about.
and may or may not be in the witness relocation program. Nothing.
Right. Well, I haven't heard
a
any.
bleep or a blurb of any of it.
Yeah, but even in my algorithm, I haven't heard anything about the furry dude other than that he's gone. Either whatever,
Right.
either he took off or they put him in, put him somewhere. But yeah, I haven't heard shit about that guy. But at least they're
And
letting
it's very
people in
similar to the way
trial.
after the Crooks incident, you never heard anything more about that guy either. There was, there were no constant updates about that.
Well, actually, not too long ago, I don't know if you saw the story, but that's Tucker Carlson found a bunch of stuff online. That they said he didn't have any kind of online footprint. Well, apparently he did. And they found.
Yeah, I've seen that, and that's
Yeah.
all I've seen. But that was some time after the fact.
Oh yeah, it was way after the fact, and yeah, like a week or two ago. But yeah, the whole thing's just it's so many questions, and the whole thing is if the FBI or Erica Kirk, for that matter, or Fox News or any of these people wanted to squash all of these conspiracy theories, it would be quite easy to do it. Speaking of which, now in a semi-related thing with the Brigitte Macron thing, it's like, why can't she just produce a picture of herself as a kid or a picture of herself pregnant with their kids? Or, hey, it would be so easy to debunk these things if they weren't true. Instead,
Is that lawsuit still ongoing?
I don't know.
Candace Owens, because again, I haven't heard anything about that either, except for when she brought it up that she was being sued.
Well, you've heard now that it's been confirmed by the intelligence community that the French were trying to kill Candace.
No, I did not hear that.
Oh yeah, the French government apparently had a hit out on Candace Owens. Yeah, well, I mean, when you say confirmed by the intelligence community, what the hell does that mean? That's what they're saying.
That's an insane statement to make too, though, in the year 2025. The French
that means
government has a hit out on an American.
They certainly would know,
podcaster.
But whether they're going to confirm one way or the other correctly, that's a totally different, Yeah. Yeah,
So I've heard some rumors recently on a couple of podcasts that they're getting ready to get rid of old Kash Patel.
Yes, I've heard that too. Didn't we
heard
talk
about
about that last episode?
I don't know if we talked about it on the pod, but what do you think he's going to do after he gets the axe? Who's going to hire that guy?
He'll go back to writing children's books, I assume, I guess. But the question about that is, will his girlfriend leave him? But yeah, I've heard that.
Right. And we did talk about it because I remember that point. We were talking about whether his Mossad girlfriend would stick with him or not.
Yeah,
He still
supposedly
has
they're
any
just
value.
Yeah, they're waiting for the co-director that they just appointed. Has got to get like 2 or 3 months of time in the job before they can get rid of Kash. But yeah, he's not credible. I mean, that's it's funny because there's so many of these. There's one specific Facebook post that basically had Eric Kirk talking to Kash Patel going, "Oh, I believe what he says." And I'm like, okay, well then did you believe when he said there weren't any Epstein files? Or do you believe him now that he says there are Epstein files? How can you believe anything this guy says? I mean, it's
20,000 files sitting on my desk. Now there's none, and now they're back.
Yeah, any of these people now, their credibility has been blown to hell just because they ran their damn mouths. Oh, yeah, it's just so crazy.
And just his expression, his constant look of shock and surprise, regardless of how factual the things that come out of his mouth may or not be, they never look believable just because of the way he looks when he says them.
Yeah, it's bad.
He looked like a deer in headlights, which I almost hit a deer on the way over today. It was about 15 miles outside of Gainesville. It was a big old doe crossing the road. She hesitated at the last second and looked back, which freaked me out because, deer don't typically travel by themselves. So I'm like, is she looking back for her offspring or her mate? And another bunch of them about to spring across the road, but all ended well.
Now, did you see now? I just saw a clip actually today or yesterday, but they had what's her name, Kristi Noem, testifying in Congress about something. And they asked her like, "Have you deported any combat vets?" She's like, oh, no, no, no. We would never. We support the combat vets. And he literally brings out a guy on FaceTime going, this is Mr. So-and-so. He was a Purple Heart combat vet that you deported back to Korea, where he hasn't lived since he was 7 years old. And she's like, oh, we really support the vets. We really blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh, my Lord, come on. You just admit, okay, we fucked up. We'll try to get him back.
Now, in the case of that fuck up, which we'll all, I think, would agree that it indeed was one, was it just a clerical thing, or was he literally not a U.S. citizen? Because how could you not be granted citizenship after serving in a war?
To tell you the truth, I don't think he is a citizen. And I'm pretty sure that the reason, and this is why I brought it up, the reason he got deported, and this is funny, Jelly Roll just came up with this subject the other day on Joe Rogan. But the reason he got deported, because apparently after he served, he came back, and of course, since he had PTSD, he got hooked on drugs, and he got busted for being a drug addict. Went to jail, came out, went through a program, I guess, and has been clean and sober for, I think they said 14 years of sobriety, and they still deported him. So I think, hey, if being a veteran drug addict gets you deported, why stop at the citizens? Get rid of all the drug addicts. If we're going to be just cold and not care about, it's so crazy. You create all these problems.
I can't believe that there isn't one already. But if you serve in the defense of this country, and you especially, and then are deployed to an actual war, that's automatic citizenship. You shouldn't have to take a test. You shouldn't have to fill anything out. It's when you get discharged from the Army, you should be discharged as a U.S. citizen.
Well, if that's the case, that guy that just killed the National Guard people, he should have been a citizen, because he was a CIA asset, fought on our side in Afghanistan. He would have been an American citizen. Yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah, no, if you're fighting for the CIA, I'm going to say that doesn't count.
How about let's just do this? Let's just do this. If you're willing to fight for America, I think you should be a citizen. But let's start fighting for America. How about that? Let's stop fighting for Exxon and Boeing and GE Electric and Northrop Grumman and Israel and let's start fighting for America. Then I would be 100% if you're willing to fight for America, you can be a citizen. This shit we're doing now, no. Yeah,
well, it's never been for America. It's always been for American interests. And those interests have been specifically business interests.
When we fought here, it was for America. When we go out and fight other places, then that's not so much for America. Unless we're trying to acquire that place, which, of course, is frowned upon nowadays.
Yeah, we definitely talked about that in one of the last episodes, how much simpler it must have been back then when, conquest was considered normal, and you were happy if your country was able to seize more territory. It showed how strong you were.
And that's the thing about the whole Israel lie. Like, just quit lying to us. We know what you want. You want the West Bank. You want Gaza. Just say it. Just say it. We're taking it. We're going to take it. Everybody there is going to have to leave. Call it what you will. Call it apartheid, ethnic cleansing, whatever. We're just going to do it. Just quit lying about it. And the problem is, if they quit lying about it, then most people in America are going to go, well, you know what? We're going to have to quit giving you money. That's the only reason they lie. Because otherwise, people would go, nah, I don't think that's a good use of my tax dollars.
Yeah. Well, all wars have to be sold to the public. So they're always, there's always a spin. There's always a lie.
And that's the problem, is the whole lie is crumbling, especially with young people. Only people that still buy this Israel bullshit are like old boomers, like my dad, and his chick, and people older than us. And there's some our age that still buy this bullshit, but
it's less than it's ever been before. The support for them definitely is a generational ticking time bomb. Assuming it doesn't stop abruptly, it will end simply because, like you said, the young people are not going to stand for it.
Right. Yeah, and it is ending, and that's why, I don't know. I mean, you're not on Facebook, but I've noticed on Facebook. It's funny, too, because now they're doing so much too late. I mean, there's every third or fourth post is something about Israel, about how great they are and how so much they're in the right and everybody else is lying and this, that, and the other thing. It's like, yeah, unfortunately, Charlie Kirk wrote you that letter about a year ago. You're about a year too late. It's, you're not going to, it's not going to work. It's over for them, I think. And it's funny. Somebody was saying, I didn't really catch how it tied in, but somebody was trying to say that Venezuela is actually also somehow tied in with Israel. I didn't really dive into that rabbit hole very, very much though. But something about
that seems like a 6 degrees of separation that I'd be interested to hear how those are connected.
Well, and the thing is, I mean, all right, so it's clear that Venezuela is not about drugs. That's another lie. That's clearly just complete bullshit. Nobody believes. But obviously, the other motivation everybody thinks is oil, which is true. I mean, that's certainly a good motivation to, at the very least, be friends with them. If not take over the whole regime change or whatever. But I think a lot more important issue that Trump isn't saying, but I think he and the neocons are looking at is the Monroe Doctrine. Venezuela's right now, if we were try to attack Venezuela, I got a feeling you'd all of a sudden find a lot of Chinese and Russian missiles being shot out of Venezuela. I don't think those two powers are going to sit by and just go, yeah, go ahead and. I mean, some of them have already got vested interests there. Interests? Did I just say?
Interests. Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, and along with that Monroe Doctrine, that whole focusing more on the Americas, our hemisphere, plays right also along into his whole kind of disassociation with NATO and withdrawing from that. Yeah. And basically keeping an eye on our own backyard, and you guys keep an eye on your backyard, and you want to keep dealing with the Ukraine thing, that's on you, and we're going to deal with the Americas.
Thomas Massey just introduced
maybe Greenland.
Yeah, Thomas Massey just introduced a bill to withdraw from NATO.
Yeah, I saw that.
And they're also saying there's a couple of at least one or if not more nuclear subs patrolling around now off of Venezuela, which is not apparently a no in normal times. Like normally they're not allowed to have subs over here. So I don't know, who the hell knows. And they're saying that they have sub technology that's way better than ours. Now, I mean, we may have
as well. That is one area apparently where Russia has exceeded us.
Right. And of course, Ukraine. Everybody's getting better and better with drones. Drone war over there has been going crazy. Have you seen where they put?
I would say China absolutely has an advantage over us when it comes to drones.
True. Well, yeah. I mean, it's all in the technology, though. That's the thing. I mean, anybody can make the drones. Anybody can make them cheap. It's all in the technology of what you can get them to do. Really, how fast you can get them to go, how far you can get them to go.
We have them slightly edged out in the technology department, but they have the production means to literally just swarm with drones. True. You know what I mean? And you can only cover so many of them. So at a certain point, you can overwhelm with numbers with the drones.
Have you seen any of the footage of from Ukraine where there'll be like a highway you got to go down to get to the front and it'll be completely covered in like netting?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess that's anti-drone things or something. And you know what? Here's what they do, which is brilliant. Is they take their drones and they fly it in the other end, where they end up. They fly it down the road a certain amount, and then they'll just land their drone and just sit there the side of the road until somebody comes by, and then bam, sit there with the camera on, just watching the road. Oh, here comes somebody. Bomb.
Right. That's going to be the new sound of PTSD. Is not going to be the sound of artillery. It's going to be that humming, buzzing sound of a drone. That's what guys are going to be flipping out when they hear that sound overhead after they've been home for a while.
And I'm surprised. Maybe they do have this technology, but I'm surprised what they don't do is because very often they'll have a drone right over something that they want to destroy, and sometimes they'll drop something from the drone or another drone will fly into it. But those drones are easily able to just send back the GPS coordinates of exactly where they are. And if you're at I'm sure they have smart artillery rounds already. You know, can't they just put an artillery round right over where you know?
They probably can, but to be quite honest, the whole drone itself is probably cheaper than the round.
That could be true. Yeah,
It's
artillery
probably
rounds are
cheaper
pretty
and easier to
expensive, aren't
just
they?
use that drone as a kamikaze, you know, in and of itself, and then just get another drone.
Yeah, you're probably right. The drones are probably cheaper. But I mean, they can't. Well, I don't know. I don't know if you've seen, but most of the drones look like they just have like what looks like an artillery shell strapped to them, you know, basically, and then.
Yeah, they're not super high tech.
Although I don't know, I think some of them are. I think some of them have like shape charges, and I know, as a matter of fact, some of them, if they just drop straight down, are what's the incendiary shit?
Napalm.
Not napalm. The stuff that burns right through metal, magnesium or whatever.
Thermite.
Yeah. Thermite. That's what they drop. Like if they can find a tank with an open hatch, that's what they drop in the open hatch, and the thing just burns everything inside of it, and then everything starts going off once that happens. But yeah, I mean,
thermite was what they used in Breaking Bad when Walt and Jesse were robbing the chemical plant and they had to burn through the lock. The security guards are watching them like, these guys are technically geniuses, but they're also idiots because they're smart enough to use all this chemistry to burn through the lock, and then they didn't figure out a way to move the giant barrel.
Yeah, it's like the scene with the giant battery in the van, and they're like, "Yeah, you didn't think the van was going to tip over, dumbass?"
Right? Magnets.
Yeah, right. Good old Jesse. He was always the brains of that operation. So, you know, it's funny. I was thinking to myself, how much money FBI and NSA guys that sit around and watch people over their cameras, they must save like a ton of money in OnlyFans subscription. You just
Right.
get to,
Of course, they probably also see a lot of stuff they didn't want to see.
yeah, probably.
Not
guess
everybody
you-
should have an OnlyFans account.
Right. I guess you could always just look away if you had to. Look away.
It's your job
look
to
away.
watch.
Right. Well, I don't know. I've run out of political bullshit to talk about. There was something. What do you got?
Oh, I was just going to point out that today I'm at Uncle Bob's secret West Coast bunker. I'm also going north for the holidays. I'm going to be gone for a week, so I'll be doing sort of a Dr. Bob's extended holiday tour. We'll be doing a couple of episodes from Ohio.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Yeah.
What, are you going up there for Christmas?
Yep.
Oh, so you think you're going to have a white Christmas?
Oh, absolutely. Almost assured.
Well, it's already snowing up there now, right?
Yeah. I'm not driving. I'm flying. There's no way I'm driving through the mountains and that crap.
Right. Yeah. That's. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
how close is Heather to the airport? I mean, there's got to be some driving, right?
Yeah, it's like a half an hour. It's not that
Okay,
bad.
it's not so bad.
30 miles or whatever. 30 miles compared to like driving up there is like 950 miles.
True. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, fuck that. I wouldn't do that either. And, you know, we'll might right around Christmas have, I finally sent our friend Scott all the clips. We may have a best of episode of this crappy old podcast called The Sloth Doctors. They sucked. They weren't very
Yeah,
good.
these two idiots that looked a little bit like us.
Yeah, but we may have a best of episode of that coming up right around the end of the year, maybe right after the first of the year.
Oh, unfortunately, I'm not sitting in front of my computer, so I can't bring it up right now. But our friend over in Europe, or in England rather, Dave Conley, he did answer your question about the British tax collecting system.
Oh,
And
really?
He did it in
Sure,
rather extensive detail too. I thanked him for it. Gave him a heads up, said thanks for the info. But if you look for that episode, you should be able to find. I can't remember if it was a comment on a short or a full episode, but he definitely commented and answered the question.
What was his answer? Do you remember?
It was very long. It was like 3 paragraphs. He went into extensive detail. I can't possibly begin to spit it all out right here, but more detail than I actually thought we would need.
Really? But I mean, does it sound like it's similar to our system, or?
Yeah, similar. Not
I mean,
as
most
complicated as our system, but that shouldn't surprise anybody.
Say again?
It said it's not as complicated as our system, but that comes as no surprise.
But does it seem like it's derived from their system, like everything else that American is English?
Yeah, basically, yes, like English common law. Yeah.
Interesting. I'll go have to. Yeah, no shit. I forgot. I should have looked at that. Yeah, I know. You know, I often forget since every time I check, there's practically no comments. But yeah, I often forget to even look for comments. But I did specifically ask him about that one. Did I send him? I was wondering. I was going to say, did he watch the episode, or I think I sent him a message on Facebook.
He may have. I don't know. He didn't include in the response that he was answering a direct message or anything. So I assumed he just watched it. I mean, I know all my buddies that have been turned on to the show are subscribed. Scott gets notifications whenever a new show comes out. So I don't know if he's subscribed or not.
I'm pretty sure I sent.
We're up to
Dave
60 subscribers now.
Oh, wow. Nice. Beautiful. What was I just going to say? Oh, I just had something now.
Something about Dave Conley, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I don't remember what it is. Oh, you know what it was is just earlier today. Huh? No, we're good. We're all good. He's like, why aren't they talking? No, earlier today I was actually I had to go and do some financial stuff with my financial guy. Who's this is my financial guy joke. If you're standing in line in alphabetical order, Chuck Norris has to stand behind him because his name is Chuck Morris with an
Nice.
M. But anyway, he's a cool dude, and I was over at his place, and we were talking about the fact I was asking him, I was like, God, could you imagine a world without the IRS? You know, if they just got rid of, and Trump's talking about it. You know, I don't see him doing it, but you know, here's the thing. I mean, if you actually read the IRS amendment, I mean, you and I, unless we're incorporated, we're not really supposed to be paying anyway. I mean, if Trump wanted to, he could legally just go, look, guys, you don't have to pay. It's only the corporations that should be paying.
And isn't the word voluntary even in there somewhere? Or is
Yeah,
that
I
just
believe
an
it
urban
is.
myth?
I believe it is. And basically all he has to really do is tell the IRS to stop illegally enforcing, you know, what is supposed to be voluntary. You know, as long as you're
I do like that the IRS literally doesn't care how you got the money. They just want their share of it. Like there's a place, there's like a write-in portion that you could put down contract killing, whatever. Just put down the amount you got, make sure you give them their percentage.
Yeah. Well, which is funny because when I very first started getting Obamacare, which is back when I, started filing taxes again, finally, I thought I was going to have to lie and tell them I made an X amount per year, but it turns out I was making exactly just enough amount out of, getting rent from the house. So, yeah, but otherwise I was going to have to lie and go, yeah, I make $13,000 a year. As a matter of fact,
have you been able to reach out to Patrick and tell him that Dr. Bob's an idiot and sorry about the happy hour incident?
Oh yeah. I sent him a message. Yeah, I'm going to take him and maybe I'm trying to get him and Opie. Maybe I'll get them and take them both out to happy hour or something. Yeah, that was such a clusterfuck of crossed wires.
Yes, that absolutely was, and I take the full brunt of most of it.
No, it wasn't all your fault. I don't know why, but dude, I was absolutely convinced that you knew that I was, I wanted us to make sure that Pat didn't pay a penny, even though you didn't know that. I was convinced you knew. So when I saw you pay the check, I was like, all right, great, everything's fine, and then we get halfway out in the parking lot and you're like, hey, aren't you going to pay for your drinks? And I'm like, what? What do you mean? What? So yeah, that wasn't all your fault, but it was definitely a clusterfuck of cross.
Right.
But yeah,
I didn't even think I could put it on the card that day. That's why I bought all my own stuff.
No, it was just a total miscommunication. I'll get it back though. I'll take him out and wine and dine him or something. Maybe take Pat and his wife out.
The sounds of sadness. She hears her mommy out there and wants to know why she can't go. It's fine. Chill out.
So that dog gets along with all the cats?
There are no more cats. When she
Oh,
moved, her neighbor, she only had two left at that point,
oh,
and her neighbor, a couple of doors down, had expressed interest. And I've seen posts of them, and they're way happier now living with this chick. There's no dog in the house. They get run of the whole apartment. So yeah, so it's just her and the dog. But I mean, my aunt and my grandma, they have a dog too. So there's two dogs here, but no cats. But the two dogs get along.
is the other dog the same size?
The other dog is a black lab, but she's a little bit bigger, but she's really chunky too. So
Right.
she weighs more, but she's also her frame is also bigger. But they get along.
That's a lot of dog, though.
It is a lot.
It comes
But
in
that
handy
one
now.
uses her
when-
weight to her advantage, and Macy just runs circles around her because she's so lean.
Right. Well, it's good to have now. There's 34 degrees, supposedly, or whatever.
Right?
A couple of dogs to sleep
bed
with.
warmer.
Yeah. Yeah, my cat never sleeps with me. Never. Rudy used to sleep with me every night. My cat
Yeah, but
never.
what's funny is whenever you're not in that bed, she sleeps in there on your bed, doesn't she?
Not lately, actually. No. But she has. I mean, she does every once in a while. That was a pretty common spot for a while. That must be a cool spot because she hasn't laid there for a while. It's been coolish. So maybe she. I don't know if you noticed, but I leave that one drawer open that's got like my junk clothes in it, and that's kind of like
Right.
her bed. She likes to lay in that drawer. That's why I leave it open.
Nice. It's like cats that like to sleep on your keyboard, so you get a spare keyboard. They don't know any better. They still think they're interrupting you.
I've never had a cat want to sleep on the keyboard. I mean, Rudy used to come and just walk over it trying to get my attention.
Yeah, I've had cats try to lay on all kinds of electronics, usually because they're warm and it feels good. They like them because they're warm.
True.
And also, they literally like to the cats are the ones I had. They hated if you were on the phone, or the worst that would piss them off for me was reading a book. For some reason, they thought that it was the ultimate rudeness to read a book and ignore them completely. And so they would get in between me and the book, or try to lay on the book, or paw at the book.
Why do they got to go in the bathroom with you?
I don't know. But yeah, mine always did too.
Yeah, I don't know that there's ever been a cat that didn't. They have to go hang out with you in the bathroom for some reason. It's funny. It's not long ago, a guy that has one of Cheese brothers, I think, or whatever, from the very same litter, sent a picture of the cat laying at his feet while I was taking a dump or something. Who else's cat does that?
Laying in the
his
hammock
sister.
of your underwear? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And that was like my comment. Yeah, your sister does. Well, no, she doesn't do that, but she always just does walk in there, walk around, meowing, looking for attention. I always like to open the little cabinet under the sink. She'll go in there for a while, close the door, and she hangs out in there until she lets herself out.
A little enrichment for her. That's nice.
Anyway, what else we got going on? All right, well, I got a gig coming up at the fair. It's so funny because I'm kind of relearning, not relearning, but a couple of songs that I've been playing for decades. They actually go back and making sure I'm playing it exactly right, and you realize, oh wow, I'm not playing that right at all. There's all kinds of different stuff going on in that song that I didn't know about. It's like 2 or 3 songs. I'm like, oh wow, that's not what I was playing. I didn't know that's how that went. Which is, truthfully, back in the days when I learned this stuff, it's not like today where you got internet and you can get isolated tracks and find guys of playing it and showing you how to play it, going, like this is how you play it. So back in those days, you had to kind of just go with what you could hear and kind of go, well, I think that's what they're playing.
Couldn't you buy a physical copy of it so you could read out the notes and everything?
No, well, now you probably could, but back in the days, like in the 90s, you couldn't. And here's the thing. There were a couple of magazines that, if you got lucky, would publish the music of a song you were trying to learn. But even that was sometimes suspect because you'd be playing it and wait, that's not right. That can't be right. So, I don't know. It's always a toss up. And even now, I mean, you'll put in a Google or YouTube, so and so isolated bass or something, and if you're lucky, you'll just get the track of what they're actually playing, and then you can just hear it and figure it out. But a lot of the times, it's like some guy playing what he thinks it is, and sometimes you got to watch those and go, no, that's not it. No, that's close, but that ain't it. It's like you have to even still weed through the ones that are like, no, that's not how that goes. I think I mentioned it before, but there's this one guy that is pretty spot on just about everyone I've ever seen him do. Every once in a great while, I'll catch him on something that's not exactly right, but he's pretty good. And he'll even also come back and do like redo a song. Go, oh, listen, I found out I was playing this wrong, so here it is redone. But he's this guy, and he's got a whole wall of, how you've got your mask behind you?
Right.
When he plays this thing, he's got a whole wall of masks, like 100 of them behind him while he's doing that.
I actually am subscribed to one bass player YouTube channel because it's a combination of bass and also humor. He's a very funny guy. And that's that Davey 504 guy, the Italian guy.
No idea.
He's always like, slap the like button. I'm sure I've shown you a video of his or two before, but I mean, to my ear, he sounds like a really good bass player. I think he's pretty good.
Yeah. It's, it's subjectional. I mean, the best bass player is ones you don't really ever notice. It's if you hear in the bass, then the guy's just showing off. But I don't know. That Flea, guys like that, Bootsy Collins, they all changed the face of the bass. I'm still a guy though I'm fine with just being in the back. I don't have to take a solo or anything like that.
Right. You're Entwistle. We know. It's your hero.
Yeah. But I mean, I got to say, Entwistle was he was really one of the first guys. I mean, McCartney definitely changed bass for the most part, but I mean, before guys like McCartney and Entwistle, the bass was just boom, 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 bing, boom, boom. It was just so simple. It was like, that's why nobody ever wanted to do it, because it was just so mindlessly dumb and simple. Those guys actually said, all right, we're going to do something a little different. McCartney came up with all the counter melodies, and I don't even know how to describe what Entwistle did. Oh, which is so funny. I just made a comment on Facebook the other day. Some guy was talking about 70s singers, and everybody was making comments about all these great 70s singers, and nobody was talking about Roger Daltrey. Daltrey, right? Daltrey.
Yes.
That's what happened. I even Googled it to make sure I didn't fuck up the name, and it told me Daughtry, Daughtry, Roger Daltrey.
Yeah, wasn't that some guy on like American Idol or something?
Well, the guy's name wasn't Roger. His name was just Daughtry, or it was something else Daughtry, but it wasn't Roger Daughtry. I put in Roger and started spelling D-A, and I guess I put the U, and for whatever reason so I thought, I went with that, thinking, truthfully, I didn't even think about it that hard, just like, I guess that is how you spell it. And then the guy that at the post goes, do you mean Roger Daltrey? And I'm like, Google fucking told me. I'm blaming that on Google.
Right. I think we're still safe from AI for a little while.
Yeah, true. I don't know. There's so many places that AI could so take over. Although I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised. I recently ran out of meds and kind of didn't do my labs soon enough, I thought. So I thought there was going to be a problem with getting my meds before my labs, and the guy, blah, blah, blah. But come the day that I was out of meds, I went to the drugstore, and they're like, yeah, here you go. So it wasn't so bad. Not often it turns out that way.
No.
And the other thing is, the guy was talking to Chuck Morris. I was talking to him today about a bunch of, and he's actually an ex-cop. So I was talking to him about the audit videos I was watching, and he was really surprised that a lot of as am I, surprised how many cops get asked on YouTube, what is the First Amendment? What's the Fourth Amendment? What's the Second Amendment? And they like, oh, well, what you don't know? Well, you're going to tell me, right? And like, what do you mean? You took an oath to a constitution. You should know at least the basics of it. I don't expect you to know the Third Amendment or anything, or the Sixth Amendment. But you got to know the First, got to know the Fourth, got to know the Fifth. Be nice if you knew the Second, although they're making laws against the Second. But it's just amazing how many of these people just have no idea. Let alone, you get someone like, oh, okay, well, freedom of speech. You're like, all right, well, there's 5 tenets to the First Amendment. What are they? Oh, I don't know. It's just amazing how these, have no idea. And they swore an oath to it. No clue. But anyway, what are you going to do?
I thought the military swears an oath to the Constitution. I thought police just swear an oath to uphold the law.
The Constitution is the law of the land. That's the supreme law of the land. I'm pretty sure you swear it right to the Constitution as a cop too. I know you do as a soldier. Which, that whole debate about, following legal or illegal orders. Yeah, I mean, we all saw the movie, You can't handle the truth. If it's illegal, you shouldn't do it. But anyway, I don't know. What do you think? You think we're going to war with Venezuela, or what do you think's going to happen? Just a bunch of sable rattling, or do you think actually anything will happen down there?
I think something will happen, but I don't think we'll call it a war. It'll be some sort of police action or, incident or something. I don't think it'll be like you mentioned before on a previous show, I don't think Congress is going to declare war on Venezuela. Yeah. But I can see a lot of executive actions being used.
Well, the whole thing they want Maduro out for some reason. And that's where somehow I think the fact that he may be anti-Israel or something like that may have something to do with it. But so if they want Maduro out, who do they want in? And I mean, is the government more sympathetic to us without Maduro, or is the whole government more loyal to Maduro? Do we have to just overthrow the one guy or the whole government? We already tried cooing the place. We already tried, you saw where they caught the CIA guys there trying to kidnap Maduro, right?
Yes, yeah.
And then they're going to blame
who's the replacement? Is it going to be worse than we're going to worry about who's getting in next. Sometimes we end up with somebody worse than we started with.
Right. Well, that all depends on whether the rest of the administration, government, or whatever of if they want to be friends with America or not. If they want to be, our bitch, or if they want to keep. And it's the same thing. It's the same war. Every country that says, you know what, that America's sure making a lot of money off of our oil. Every time any country says that, it's not a good future for them. Their outlook looks very bleak.
Yeah, saying that is lighting a short fuse.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, maybe we should keep some of our money. That's not a good idea. Yeah, no, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. I'm out. You got anything else?
No, actually, I got to go pee pretty soon, so that's a pretty good time to call it.
Right. Now, are you anywhere near the beach over there?
Yeah, I'm not too far from the West Coast. I'm not sure what the nearest actual beach is.
Well, I don't know about over there, dude, but over here, the last couple of days, you could call it Lake Atlantic. It's been flat as a lake. So I imagine over by you, it's probably, I don't know how it could get any flatter. You could probably skim rocks across the Gulf right now. It's probably so flat. Right. So, yeah, go out to the beach. I'm sure the ocean's calm as can be.
Yep, got a couple hours left of daylight. I might have to.
Yeah, there you go. All right, man. I guess you got no calls on the. We keep forgetting to. Got to start plugging the number during the show. We always wait till the end. 904-954-9024. No, wait.
904-549-9024. That's 904-549-9024.
My little touch of dyslexia really comes in just when I have to remember numbers sometimes, especially long numbers. Just that
And of
little.
course, also like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those are the most important things.
Right. All righty. Let's get out of here. And we'll talk to you
All right.
later.